Hey, honored to be here. And we did this, I think, can't remember, Carolyn, if it was a year or two ago. I just don't remember. Glad to have you here on another live forum for Shop-Ware as we're going to talk about giving back to the industry through association memberships. And there's no better group that I could have on here with me except for Carolyn, Kathleen, and Tara. And why all my lady friends here? Because it's one of the biggest things I love in life is just to hang around with the ladies. I do. I mean, I'd go to a forever woman in auto care conference that never stopped. I kind of love that. Carolyn I'm glad you're here. Carolyn Coquillette is with us, CEO of Shop-Ware, who is obviously sponsoring and presenting this to all of their great friends and their clients. Also president of ASECA, the Automotive Service Councils of California, and the owner of Luscious Garage, hybrid repair specialist in San Francisco. And my next question is, when do you sleep? And then come back on and teach us how to delegate.
Are you actually asking that question or...
Yes.
Giving back to the industry, that we got to stay on topic. We have a separate podcast on,
I know. That's what
on
I
time
said.
boxing.
Exactly what I said. Hey, Tara Topel's with us, owner of Topel's Service Center, Female Shop Owner of the Year from Woman in Auto Care. Hi, Tara.
Hi, Carm. Thank you for having me.
We're so happy you're here. Kathleen Long, Chief Revenue Officer from RepairPal. Hey, Kathleen.
Hey, happy to be here.
Oh, brand new partner of us on the Aftermarket Radio Network. Hey, nice. We're talking about the importance of industry affiliations and how advocacy and financial support can help change the future of our great industry. I think the perfect place to start is with Carolyn, being an insider now with ASECA, leading that great organization. We're looking for some wise words. We're here to change the perception and the attitude of the people that are listening as to why association membership, volunteerism, and support is important.
Well, I mean, everyone's super busy fixing cars, running businesses. There's no lack of things to do. And the reminder that participating in an association and giving back to industry is also necessary is something that just requires visibility, encouragement, reminders. I have people ask, hey, how do we convince people to join if we're going to do the work anyway? And the answer is because it's the right thing to do. And we'll talk about that on today's session, certainly on the benefits to you as a member of industry to participate and kind of get out from within your own four walls and to give back and the satisfaction of that service. But that's really what it's all about. And there's stuff we were talking about before this podcast began around scholarships. I'm really bullish on the government advocacy, which is very appropriate for California. We can talk more about what ASECA is doing for shops in California and the amazing work that we do to support shops in their ability to do business. But yeah, that's our primary reason for being here, and it's a really worthy cause, and we can't do it without the strength of our members.
So our goal is to try to motivate so many of the shop owners that are not only customers of yours, but are hanging out here to just hear about association memberships. When I was in business, I belonged to associations. I volunteered. I was on board of directors, and I realized that it was more the power of the networking that really helped me be smarter than I could ever possibly be. You can read every article in the world, and you can watch, every podcast in the world, but until you put your foot in the deep end of the pool, is there a whole lot of value there? Tara, in your particular case, Women in Auto Care, great organization. Talk to us about why you participate.
There are a multitude of definitely reasons that I participate in Women in Auto Care. I think specifically it helps me know that I'm not just, that I might be in business by myself, but it's not really by myself because I have an army of people behind me from all different facets of the industry that help me be the best shop owner that I can be.
Excellent. And you get on an airplane and you go and you invest money in being in the networking portion. And there isn't a conference I've ever been to, Carolyn, Tara, Kathleen, that the training wasn't just so exceptional and so off the wall. You would almost have to sleep for the whole day not to learn something new.
Yeah, well, it's like what you were saying in the beginning, Carm, about how does Carolyn do it? Well, by attending some of these conferences, you can learn how people like Tara have made success in their shops. Or I don't think we'll ever figure out exactly how Carolyn does it, but that's the kind of content or the give back that you get from participating in these kinds of events. Is, there's a contribution you're making by being there, sharing your expertise, working with people, sharing your opinions, lending your support to important causes like Right to Repair. But there's also a really big takeaway. And so, that's what I get out of it, is inspiration from people like these two.
Do we every once in a while feel I have nothing to give? This is why I don't want to belong.
That's an open question. I mean, I think that you can't underestimate how much work fixing cars and running a shop are. I mean, it's hard to then at the end of the day go, okay, I'm going to dig down a little bit deeper and find a little bit time for my peers. And the reality is that, and this is sort of the high level on, how am I delegating my time, is that you have to be able to prioritize. You can inevitably get sucked into any little emergency, and that's what auto repair is just one little emergency after another. That's what a broken car is. And yeah, you're going to provide great service to your customers. You want everything to go perfectly, but ultimately, if you're limiting yourself to those incremental contributions, you're avoiding the larger contributions you can make, and how you impact your whole business, your industry, your friends. And I think, you get outside again of your four walls. You start talking to, whether it's folks in your area that also run repair shops, and learning more about what's happening with them, and taking that back to your shop and how you can improve, understanding what's happening in Sacramento, and what are the key issues that are impacting the business and your state, and how you're going to vote, and how you're going to be able to protect yourself from some of those potential threats or impositions, especially as we look out at telematics and ADAS and autonomy and all these different things that are definitely going to change the way that we fix cars. How do you make sure you're prepared for that and you're listening? That kind of stuff is really essential. And then ultimately, connecting on the broader environment around, what's happening nationally and beyond, different kinds of vendors, different kinds of national organizations. And as you open up your mind and you start to see more and more of how this industry actually works, it just makes you that much not only good at knowing what you should be focused on inside your business, how to position yourself inside of that business, but also just how you're positioning yourself in your career, your personal career, and what you can do and what you want to do and what you care about. And everyone you talk to who's out and about and gets to rub elbows with other folks, whether it's at an association or whether it's at a management training group, or all of these different types of awesome activities that are happening inside of our industry, they say like, wow, like before I got out of my shop and I went out and I talked to people, I really didn't know what I was missing. I didn't know what was wrong in my own business or what was wrong with me that I wanted to ultimately change. And it wasn't until I got out there and started getting exposed and learning from all these other people that I was able to take sort of the next step and get to the next level. And so, certainly speaking personally, like I'm just always trying to kind of get to that next level and figure out what additionally again I can contribute or try to figure out. And that's what everybody else is trying to do. And it's awesome to be able to know that there are resources out there. You don't have to invent it for yourself. Just come to an association event, come, get out of your shop and go to a training, do whatever, and just start the conversation.
Yeah, I'm a member way over here on the East Coast of ASCCA, and I get a chance to see all of the stuff that goes on, the team talk and the newsletters. Carolyn, an incredible new batch of new members.
Yeah, no, we just added 36 new members since the beginning of the year, which is the greatest increase in members we've had in many years at ASCCA. A lot of excitement. We have momentum. We're excited to keep that momentum going. The themes this year were, first of all, creating some easier pathways to get members on board. So we introduced an introductory membership path. If you go to ascca.com, in the upper right-hand corner, there is a join for free button. You click that button, you fill out, a half dozen fields, and you're done. You're a member of ASCCA. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to get you engaged and show you more about what we're up to. Literally no cost. It takes you 5 seconds, fill it out. We can't wait to engage with you. So that was sort of step one. The next step for our association is circling back to all of our individual chapters and finding out, what's going on with shops in San Francisco, Redding, San Jose, San Diego, like talking to each individual group and saying, okay, where are we now? Where do we want to go? What's the barrier that you're having from like a regional chapter perspective? Do you need an administrator? Do you need a new chapter leader? How do we connect ready volunteers with volunteers who are burnt out and need to take a break? How do we kind of just work the problem? And unfortunately, there's no silver bullet. I mean, you have to just get in there, have those conversations, and figure out how to make best use of the different resources that are inside of the association. So that's sort of our project for the second half of the year, is getting in there and really spending the time to get to know what's going on at each individual chapter.
I recently did an episode with a shop owner, and we were talking about the educational system, and I always keep saying the word got to get involved. So he stopped me in my tracks, and he goes, I got to change your language, Carm, and Carolyn, you so believe in this. And he says, we've got to create a more volunteerism perspective in our industry. Stop talking about getting involved and start talking about volunteering. And I said, wow, that just may work. That may just change some people's thinks, Kathleen. And I want to get your take on, if we were here setting up the engagement of associations right now, and it's a volunteer thing because it's going to help you wouldn't volunteer for the Boy Scouts or for the Cat Association or the dog play if you didn't feel good about giving back.
That's right. And you show what's important to you by where you spend your money and where you spend your time. Okay. So if you are really so busy, and hopefully your business is thriving and doing well and all that effort is producing something, then one way to volunteer is to volunteer your pocketbook. So one of the things I do is I donate to ACPAC, which is, supports Right to Repair, and I send a monthly contribution.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So I've also written letters to lawmakers and devoted time in that way, but also, money is an important contribution as well. So for people who can, I suggest that. For people who can't, understandable, but also, like you were saying, there's a bunch of different ways you can get involved at different levels of volunteering. So it's, what are you good at, and how can you take those talents and contribute them to the causes that you care about? So speaking of the scholarships for the ASCCA, that they recently created to have new technicians entering the industry. What do I care about? I care about the fact that shops can't hire enough great techs. I want more great techs. I want to support women being great techs. That's personally important to me. So I volunteered to help score the applications. It was something that I could do. It's something that I could do in the evening with, cup of tea and, some music on. So it was enjoyable work. And I ended up, having to pause at times because I was getting very choked up over the stories that I got to read while I went through that. So I wasn't expecting this. I thought, oh, look at me, I'm giving my time. This is great. And what I got back was just like soul nourishment, which was really awesome.
I do that every year for Apex and the honors that are being announced, I think, in just a few days, to go over the applications and read them. And some of them are so heartful. You ask yourself, we have such great people in our industry. And thank you for doing all of that. Tara, we're so busy. I mean, we're talking to shop owners here, and you're the perfect person next to Carolyn to say, hey, where do you find the time?
Right. I think what Kathleen said is exactly right. It's either time or money. Volunteering your time is, I think, above and beyond, because we just all think that we don't have the time. But the reality is we have to make the time. Otherwise, I really do. I try not to fear a whole lot in life, but I fear that if we don't stay on top of what's going on in our industry and make a difference, either with our time or our pocketbook, that we're not going to have much of an aftermarket to be able to be part of. and I don't like to be motivated by fear. I try to look at the other side of it and say not just not having the industry, but staying above and on top in the industry and making it. I always talk about Bob Greenwood, but he always talks about the new aftermarket, and that's where we all need to be part of. I don't know what the disconnect is, but I know that there is a huge disconnect with us as shop owners and supporting those that are going to make a difference for us. So very few of us are politicians. Very few of us, can take on that role in our businesses. But if we don't start investing and making a difference and letting our voices be heard, we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Wow.
Well, one thing that I do love, giving friends who have shops a kind nudge to say, come join an association, you should do this, or hey, consider adopting a better operating system for your business, or blah blah blah. So I do have a horse in the race. However, I also acknowledge how much work shop owners are doing already, and they are constantly asked to give all the time. And the reality is that the ASCCA is here for you, right? We're here to serve you, and yes, we would love to have you engage from a volunteer perspective, but ultimately what we need you to do is just sign up. So one of the issues with associations over the years has been this idea like, oh, I don't have time for that. Well, that's fine if you don't have time for that. There's other people who are engaged, and when you do have time, when you're ready, we'll be here for you. But what we mostly need is your representation. And obviously, if you have an introductory membership like ASCCA, you can sign up without having to pay anything. And then the next step beyond that is to obviously pay your dues and be able to at least put your pocketbook towards the work that's happening in Sacramento and beyond. So again, like, if you're busy, just do what you can, but do something, because ultimately that is necessary for you to continue to stay in business. Yeah. Just like you have to continue to train, you have to continue to, stay relevant. We have to do the same thing in Sacramento. The longer that they haven't heard from us, the more they're forgetting about us. So,
wow. Carolyn, I have a quick question for you. Sorry, Carm.
No, great point.
So if I'm not in California, does it make sense for me to sign up for your organization?
You are welcome to sign up and check it out. So you will become part of our Team Talk kind of internal channel of communication, so you can see what's going on. You'll learn more about what the association is doing in California. Our activities tend to be mostly California based. We do have some out-of-state members. But you can check it out. And if you're inclined to want to join a local chapter and participate on that level, you can do that remotely. You're obviously also welcome to come to in-person events if you wish. We have an educational conference in September, which is going to be really lights out in Ontario, California. So anyone is welcome to come to our educational conference, whether you're a member or not. And then additionally, if you don't want to join a local chapter, you can always be a state member. There are dues at the state, so you would be contributing. On the other hand, what happens in California, so goes the rest of the country. So Let me tell you, emissions laws, other types of compliance, data access, all that stuff, very apropos for California. And we are there for folks in Sacramento. We have a great reputation in Sacramento. Our government affairs committee, we have a lobbyist. I mean, we are boots on the ground in Sacramento on behalf of shop owners. So if that's something that you want to help support us with, we would love to take your dues and have you count you as a member.
Well, talk about making the industry better. Where'd you come up with DVX? Oh my God. Everybody's talking about that. A ton of people are using it. Live chats, photos, videos, parts ordering.
Thank you.
I'm building a whole new building because of it, Carm.
See, there you go. See, oh, nice. I knew that would slice in here, segue in here really nice. Thank you very much.
Well, we are proud to sponsor you, Carm. So
yeah,
thank
I know.
You for doing a plug
you
for
are
Shop-Ware.
you are a long-term valued partner. Thank you so much.
For those who are interested in whether or not Shop-Ware can help you in making sure you're meeting your compliance and working on behalf of your customer's best interest, we can help you with that as well. So that is certainly a part of our business, whether it's advocating in Sacramento or otherwise putting you on the good side of the law. We definitely have a perspective on that.
Moving into the idea of understanding the industry at large, we have a heck of a question that came from our YouTube viewer. And here it is. What are the association events for auto mechanics aside of SEMA? Sorry, I'm new to this industry, been 12 years, but venturing out on their own. That's a great question. Anyone want to tackle?
Carm, you're at the events. What tell us what events you're attending these days.
Apex, ASTE. We have been to some private events. We've been out to Elite Worldwide, the Invitational, and I have to tell you, we've been to TST. We're going down to our sponsor Dorman, and there's going to be some training there in September also. And what's great is to see how these organizations and these events are growing. Mm-hmm. And I think never before in our industry, I almost think COVID helped rock our world a little bit. We can't hide behind the excuse of COVID. We have to use it to build ourselves a better business, better associations, better involvement, better networking. And I think there's only one way we're going to improve our industry and advance this aftermarket, and we have to do it ourselves. Mm-hmm. We absolutely have to reach out and do it ourselves. No one is going to step up and tell the rest of the world, stop going to the dealer. You got to do this, and here are the reasons. No one's going to say, look for an ASE Blue Seal certification on a building. We have to do all of this ourselves. I think there needs to be some type of grassroots. In fact, I'm writing this big article on ABC ratings and say, this is crazy. Is an A-Tech diagnostic or is an A-Tech a great mechanical guy? Where are we sorting this out? There's some madness going on, and I almost kind of want to find a little mini grassroots thing. And this is passion and it's volunteerism. And that's what I think most people in our industry, let's put it the top 20%, they're all on board. We've got to drag the rest of them over the line. Mm-hmm.
I think to help answer that question too about technicians getting involved, I think that maybe sometimes things are so geared to us as shop owners, but we as shop owners need to involve our technicians and our teams in these organizations. So when we're getting this information, we shouldn't be like squirrels and just keeping it to ourselves. Like, we need to be out sharing that information with our teams and including them. There isn't anything that I go to that would not be beneficial for my team, and to be able to give them the opportunity to be part of those organizations. I wouldn't say that any of the organizations that we belong to are off limits or would not be completely welcome technicians. The other thing that keeps going through my mind is that as shop owners, we tend to think that we're kind of like the little peons of the industry. Like, we kind of tend to think that we're like at the very bottom. But what really happens when we go to these larger organizations and these larger events, whether it's training or whether it's through the Auto Care Association, the truth is we're coveted. Like, when I go to women in auto care, they're like, oh, you're a shop owner? I want to talk to you. Like, I have questions for you. And it's people from Dorman. It's people from, trade magazines. It's all over. People from RepairPal, and they want to know what we need as shop owners. And we need to let our voices be heard instead of just thinking that we're not important or that, or waiting for them to come to us. We need to get out there and let our voices be heard.
Let me just tie on that. We also go to Vision. We're going to be at Napa Expo next month. But I've recently done 2 panels, and thank you for bringing this up, Tara. I was at the Young Automotive Network Group in Orlando just about a month ago, and I went down there to moderate a panel between all the young people in the industry and shop owners. And I was honored to do it. It's critical and important. And I was at Napa headquarters with all of their vendors, with shop owners, and saying, listen, I know you have products for these great service professionals, but you got to understand a day in the life of them. And so I've been doing a lot of that. In fact, I'll do something really big like that at the Napa Expo. So I'm an advocate for all of that integration. And I've always said that even some of the salespeople that we have from our suppliers need a better knowledge of your working struggles.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you were saying, Tara, making shop owners making space for other people in the shop to attend events, talk to people, be, in that coveted spot. You're going to have a more engaged employee. You're going to have somebody that sits at your shop for the long term. They're going to learn. They're going to have the opportunity to share their perspective. And more importantly, the people that serve shops like Carolyn, like myself, we're going to have the opportunity to understand how what we're doing is either meeting the need or missing the mark. But the only way to do that is for shops to participate and to participate broadly. And as a shop owner, you don't have much time. So one way to make time is to delegate also the participation. So I think that's a great insight.
Carolyn, you said something a little earlier, and I wrote down the words reaching out. And it seems like for ASCCA and the role as president, that was one of, we can't grow our membership if we don't reach out. And I heard you say, what can we do for you? What about this? I think the more incoming we get as a person who needs to have that volunteerism or pride of membership in an association, we hear about it. And then we say, oh, yeah, I got to do this. And then, Tara, as you said, time goes on and boom, 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 we forget about it. And it's almost like that email that you get every day from an associate or something you belong to. And you says, this is killing me. I should unsubscribe. But no, I need that push.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, this was part of our work to examine from ASCCA's perspective, how are we making it easier for people to get involved? Right. And that's why we put together this introductory membership, which was to remove all of the barriers and just let folks get signed up and see what we're doing, behind the curtain, not making it mysterious, not making it feel like a club or something that you had to sort of earn to be a part of. Like there is a code of ethics. You obviously have to be an auto repair dealer to be a member. We have other types of memberships for people who are vendors or not necessarily traditional auto repair shops, but effectively regular members are auto repair shops that are subscribing to a code of ethics. Other than that, you can sign up, and it's just put in your name, put in your shop name, put in your email address, and you're in. And previous to that, we had this kind of old school print a piece of paper, fill it out, fax it in, send it in with a carrier pigeon. It was sort of like no one was paying attention to how what was that process and how difficult were we making it. And unfortunately, there is a generational turnover going on inside of our business. And so there's an opportunity to share the knowledge and inspire the next generation, teach those people, hey, this is what got us here. And these are the structures that already exist. ASCCA exists. That's how, we help advocate on behalf of shop owners in California. The Auto Care Alliance and Auto Care Association and Automotive Services Association exist nationally, and they are advocating on your behalf on a national level. And you should get engaged with those guys. This is we have to teach, and if you don't know what you don't know, so you get the folks stood up, and then of course you have to sort of coax that older generation to say, hey, you got to let go, and guess what? The fax machine, no one has one anymore. So we need to stop expecting people to use one. We need to come up with the better way. And by the way, the sign up form needs to be on your phone. You need to be able to have the forms usable on a phone. And so we're getting there. And this is some of just the natural progress that we're going through as a business. And it's honestly really exciting. We have a bunch of young folks that are getting engaged at ASCCA, both at the local chapter level and at the state level. We have new board members. We have fresh blood coming in with tons of new ideas. And of course, that becomes self-fulfilling. Once that conversation starts happening and the change starts taking place, more and more people want to be a part of it. And certainly,
there's also such great ways now to get involved virtually, like so ASCCA is having virtual meetings. I recently I did choose to go in person to the Center for Automotive Advancement, Diversity, Inclusion. And I went to their event, the Katie event, in person, but they had a great setup for virtual attendees. So many times now, speaking to the time factor, if you don't have the time, or if you prefer to participate in a more modern way, you can do that right from, like we're participating here today from, I'm in my living room, right? So there's an opportunity to do it without moving a muscle, really. So just your mouse muscle, which I appreciate because it allows me to do more things in a more efficient way. So all of the modernism isn't lost on me. I think it's an amazing movement forward that you're spearheading.
I love your point, Carolyn, about a youth movement.
Hmm.
And it seems to me that if we don't corral, put our arms around, embrace our younger people, uh, we may look at associations as a thing of the past in 20 years. And as much as the coaches and the training are helping so many young people grow a better, quicker, stronger, more profitable business earlier in their tenure, we need to bring them in the association. And I love your idea. Make it easy. This virtual live thing, we went from total virtual back to live. And I just believe, Kathleen, as you said, there's going to be a hybrid of it, meaning, listen, I'll count that we have 150 in the audience and 150 virtual, and we had 300 attend. Wow, we knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely. Virtual attendance is still attendance. It's, getting people involved where they are and where they're able to attend and how they're able to attend. So such a good movement forward, I think, to be able to do that.
So I keep coming up with all those excuses. I got to cut the grass. There's Johnny and soccer. Am I speaking your language, Tara? I probably am. And then all the pressure of the day and the customer's promised car. And oh my God, we all had to work late and this happened. And I hadn't done grocery shopping. I have in-laws coming for dinner. And I mean, there's excuses after excuses. And to your point, Kathleen, we have to be accommodating to this craziness of our life. But we also have to commit as members of this great industry that we're in. We got to give back, or the volunteerism piece of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to be able to, end this meeting. In fact, there's a surprise coming. If you please stick around long enough, there's a great surprise coming because we're going to draw an incredible award for Apex, right, Carolyn? For
Yes.
Apex?
SEMA.
Sending your team to SEMA.
Yeah, it's
We're
SEMA.
going to draw the lucky winner.
We're going to draw the lucky
For
winner
SEMA giveaway, sending your
right
team
here,
to SEMA
in a little bit.
Sign up for a demo.
But and you think about all the great moves that Shop-Ware is sponsoring this. I just want to give you high fives for the kind of information that you give to shop owners.
Thanks.
And they don't have to wait for the end of the month to know where they stand and all the great KPIs and stats that they want to measure. Being a cloud-based system. So thank you so much for all the things Tara, I'm sure you take advantage of that.
Tara, tell us about your new building.
I do take advantage of them, yes. And actually, I can talk about my new building, but I was wondering if I could talk about what else is coming with Shop-Ware as far as the being able to build your own reports.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay to talk about it.
Well, do whatever you want, Tara.
Okay. Well, I never know what it's okay to not, or so yeah, they're actually going to be able. You're going to be able to take all of your information and take the information, whatever KPIs you want, and then build your own reports. So you don't have to go according to whatever it is that they think that is important. You get to build it, and then you can compare year to year, month to month, however you want to do that. So I'm very excited for that. And they're always coming out with new and amazing ways to run our business and make it easier for ourselves. It's going to be great for all the coaches out there because they're going to be able to just tell people what reports they want and they'll go in and grab it, and way less time from a shop owner's perspective. So then we have more time to be able to get involved in industry associations.
Amazing. Look how you did that.
Right there.
Great job.
I know. You were wondering where I was going with it, but there we are.
That's great. Well, it turns out the shop owners have a lot of opinions. So if we can just let you make your own reports, then, we can get out of the way.
It's true, right?
I need a report that says this. Okay, you and 10 others, and then finally you just say, "I'll set switches. Let them figure it out."
Yeah, well,
you toggle.
Analytics is a whole nother ball of wax. But certainly we're happy to be able to provide useful tools, and I think that's kind of the overarching theme is what ultimately is important in this business, and how do we all work together to try and get there. So. Right. I do think that we were talking about this a while ago, which is, first of all, the extent to which this industry creates itself. I mean, we're a sum of our parts, and all of our contributions together and helping each other and getting out there and spreading the word and advocating on our own behalf. That's what we have to do. And ultimately, when you look at folks in the front of the room who teaches the class, it's ourselves. So it's a very cool business. Also, in general, really amazing people. And what the joy, of course, of leaving your own shop and meeting other folks like yourself is that you get to interact with other really awesome people. It's a very inspiring business to be in. Helping people is such a satisfying thing, which every single one of us does every single day. I mean, it's just such a worthwhile avocation, and it's exciting now to start thinking about the new avenues for training, the new technology that's coming out. I mean, some folks are scared. It's like, oh, gee, electric vehicles, those don't need oil changes. How am I going to make any money? Well, guess what? They're going to break just fine, and they're complicated as hell. And it's exciting. It's exciting for all of us to grow. Figure it out together. We're going to get there, and the way you're going to do it is to just expand your mind.
Someone said to me the other day, "There's only a handful of moving parts on an electric vehicle," and I says, "Well, let me see. Does that suspension move at all?"
So, lots of lines of code. Don't worry. It's just,
trust me.
From the software perspective, there's plenty to break.
We
plenty of work for us to do.
We may need
different moving parts.
We may need 4 times the amount of customers in our CRM program, but
maybe.
We may be busy, and there's going to be some technicians that are going to retire and some shop owners that will close. But I still believe this industry is going to be vibrant for another 100 years as we adapt to technology and the technology that Carolyn provides us.
Yeah. I think too, of anything that came out of the pandemic that has come looking backwards are 2 huge things that have helped us to be able to build our own business. And the first is innovation, and the second one's collaboration. And I think that's ultimately what we're talking about. But I don't think we can have either without getting ourselves out and networking, and especially through the associations. We get to be with like-minded people who want to grow and develop as well. And I think that that's another important thing to realize about being involved in associations.
I love it. Hey, let's go around the room. Any final word before we draw the really big prize for SEMA? Kathleen?
Yeah. So, look, what I say, earlier Carolyn said shop owners have lots of opinions. Tara mentioned networking. So a lot of people don't like the word networking. It's scary. It's awkward. It's people walking around talking about the weather with a drink in their hand. So think about instead the opportunity to be in a room of people who actually care about your opinions and who want to listen to them. So it's just a bigger audience for the things that you have to say, the things that you believe, an opportunity to make things a reality that you always hoped would be true, and a multitude of different ways to get involved. Some are more quiet than others, some are more noisy than others, depending on the sort of person you are. There is a place for you, and that's what's beautiful about this industry, and what's amazing about industry associations is there is a place for literally everyone in the automotive industry to participate in some way, whatever way feels good. And so I would love it if, as a result of this today, more people would think about ways to get started. And one thing, if you're not sure where to start, talk to somebody you admire about what they're doing and copy it.
Thank you for your passion. Wow. Yes. Well said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tara.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, Tara, I have to stop you for a moment. As I heard you talk about Shop-Ware, I wrote down a coach's SMS. That's what I wrote down. I was inspired by that. It's the coach's SMS. Go ahead.
Love it. It's very true. I think my one thing that I just want to leave with is I think it's just as important for us as shop owners to invite people as it is to sit around and wait for people to show up. And I would never, ever be where I am today without being invited by many, many people, including Carolyn. And I think that we all need to be better at extending that invitation where we're going, at building that group of fellow shop owners and elevating the industry.
Wow, well said. Well said. Thank you.
That's
Thank you for that.
You too. Both of these, Kathleen, thank you for your comments too. I mean, just such great people. My final remark is go to our association website. It is ASCCA.com. It stands for Automotive Service Councils of California. Upper right-hand corner. Join for free. Sign up. We can't wait to get to know you. I think you'll be really excited about what we've got going on. And it's free to join. So we'll see you there. And Yeah. In terms of inviting someone, we do have our educational conference coming up in September. And one of the things we're excited to do is, bring a friend. So we want to see you there and bring a friend. So yeah, lots of great
cool.
opportunities to connect.
All right. So we're gonna do a drawing, and you've been promoting this trip for 4 to SEMA at the Las Vegas Convention Center, November 1st through the 4th. Round trip airline tickets. Listen to that. Round trip airline tickets, 4-night hotel accommodations, a celebration dinner, SEMA Apex passes, and a marketing opportunity for their shop. Wow. I mean, that's huge. Is this got to be what, 4 or 5 grand, something like that?
It's
huge.
$8,000 value.
8,000. Oh, I was thinking small. 8 grand.
Mhm.
All right. So I have this spreadsheet over here with everybody who has, entered, and we're going to draw. We're literally going to, we have this really cool piece of software that does some number of things and puts up numbers, and there it goes. And there's a whole bunch of numbers being selected, and I cannot wait to come up with what the number is. And as soon, there it is. It's 68. So I'm going to go down the list here, find line 68, and it happens to be Bob Noriega.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh, Bob! That's so exciting.
Bob Noriega
Hey,
from
Bob.
Auto Works of Tampa.
Way to go,
that's
Bob.
So great.
And I've interviewed Bob. Congrats, Bob. Yeah, good guy, great guy. Wow, congratulations. Wow. What a gift.
Carm, do you have any other numbers that you could pull for a couple gift cards that we
I
also
could pull
have?
some. Yeah, we can run the
Would you
wheel
mind?
again.
Would
If
you mind?
know.
I think we have a couple extra gift cards that we also wanted to give away.
All right, let's do some gift cards. I love it. So let's do it again. And what are these gift cards for, Carolyn?
Oh shoot! I think they're
I think you like to do Amazon's, right?
Amazon. Gift
Amazon.
cards,
Yeah.
I think
That's
so.
what I heard.
Oh,
All right,
192.
number 192. Let me look down the list. Number 192 is Michael Aycock from Aycock Import.
Yay,
Domestic
Michael! Welcome.
Wilson,
Congratulations.
North Carolina. Woo, woo, woo. And wow, that's great, Michael. Do you have another one?
Yes, we have 2.
Oh, we do.
One more
Oh,
time. One more
let's
time.
run it again. Let's
One
go.
more
Let's go run our
time.
magic
One
number
more.
thing. Let's see who's going to come up.
This is great. What technology is this, Carm?
Yeah,
I'm
I
so
know.
impressed.
Trust me. I have all that stuff.
15.
Number 115. Let me go down the list. 115. Kyung Kim from Beamer Auto, Clinton, Maryland.
Congratulations!
Wow. Amazing stuff. I love this. Well, how generous. How wonderful.
Oh,
So
yeah, absolutely.
I am sure that between Bob and Michael and Kyung, you're going to get a call from somebody from Shop-Ware probably within 24 hours and say,
Yes.
hey, congrats. You guys won these great things, and congratulations. Wow, this was fun. Wow.
Thank you, Carm. Thank you so much for doing this. And Tara and Kathleen, thank you so much for
Nice
joining.
reward.
It's such
Now,
a pleasure to
Thank
be
you
with
for
you.
inviting me.
Yeah. Great, ladies, and we're going to do this again in August, I believe, and then we've got 3 or 4 of these planned. It'll be fun, as they always are when we get together and we talk shop or business or great ways to advance the aftermarket. So thank you, Carolyn, Coquillette, Kathleen Long, and Tara Topel. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Carm. Thanks for
Thank you
everything.
for having us.